Hello, Andres.
Hello.
Good to see you. Thanks for joining.
Yeah,
How have you been?
Oh, not too bad. Yeah,
Good.
enjoying the weather.
Hi, Lucia. How are you? Hello, David.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks.
7.
Dave, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. I am not expecting Karen tonight. She's not going to make it.
Alrighty.
So one more and we'll have a quorum. I see Robert Stark is in as an attendee. I'm promoting him. Allison Stabile is here. Is this Larry Farkas?
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Larry, tell me when we're going to start so I can jot it down.
I will. So we do now have a quorum. So let's get started. Would someone like to act as chair tonight?
I can do it for tonight.
Thank you, David. I appreciate it.
Let me bring up the menu. Okay, so first thing on the agenda, new business is Mamaroneck Avenue.
Oh, could we just open the meeting? I'm sorry. Okay. Could we have a motion to open the meeting?
I'll motion.
Thank you, Lucia. And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Go ahead now, David. Okay. Sorry about that.
A new one on me. Okay. Bricksmore Shopping Center intersection. I see in the documents we got was a email from Allison Stabile, and I assume everybody has read it. So I heard somebody say that Ms. Stabile is here.
She is. Would you like me to let her speak?
If she wants to speak.
Okay, I've allowed her to speak.
Okay, so Ms. Stabile, thank you for your interest and your report. Give us a brief synopsis of your item. We've all read the email and looked at the pictures that you sent, so it's not necessary to review the whole thing, but bring us up to speed on what it is you're looking for.
Is somebody talking to me? I'm sorry.
Okay.
I literally stepped away for 3 seconds because somebody came to my door and I must have missed the intro. I'm sorry.
Welcome to the Traffic Commission meeting.
Yes.
My name is David Salco. I'm chairing the meeting tonight. I'm not the commission chair, but I'm going to try and keep the trains running tonight. We've received and read your email and your pictures, so I think we have a pretty good idea of what it is that you're talking about.
Okay.
But if you'd like to, could you give us a brief synopsis of what you're interested in, and let's hear what it's all about.
Okay. Well, I don't live on that side of town, but my son does. So I drive over there with some regularity, but not every day. And I've now had several incidences, including one on March 26th at about 5:30 in the evening, where I found myself at that intersection having a very hard time making a left turn onto New Street, and watching the traffic coming, at me from, the highway, like if you're coming from 95 towards Mamaroneck, seeing that the traffic going in that direction has the same issue because of the way the shopping center is set up, because it has a narrow driveway, because the driveway and New Street are not aligned. People making left turns have a real problem. And in my opinion, based on the fact that I don't even live over there, so I'm not there every day, but the few times that I am there, I almost always seem to have or notice the difficulty. So I thought it would be appropriate to come to your commission and suggest that, you know, somebody look at this more carefully, more in depth. I mean, maybe I'm not the best person because I don't live right there. I don't see it every single day. But I think that if I'm experiencing it, you know, the few times when I'm going over there, it's pretty safe to say that it's an issue. And so the left turning issue, I think, is it applies in a lot of different situations. And I think that a left turn arrow would also enable the situation that I experienced when the truck tried to navigate its way into the driveway, and I was in the front position waiting for the traffic light so I could exit the shopping center. I mean, the truck came, and I have a tiny little Prius, like a 15-year-old Prius. And that truck came so close to me. Thank goodness nobody was behind me. I had to back up back into the parking lot in order to allow the truck in. So, and I just think that having a traffic situation that would allow everything to slow down a little bit might encourage the drivers to navigate a little more slowly, a little more carefully. I mean, my question is, if there had been a line of cars behind me trying to get out, what would have happened? You know, you would have had the truck, you know, back and forth into the middle of Mamaroneck Avenue, trying to, you know, find a right way to enter the parking lot without taking the side of somebody's car off. So when I first moved here, I noticed a similar situation. We're talking almost 30 years ago. I live in Shore Acres. And I noticed that when I was taking my kids to school, when they were going to Bellows, when I came up to the top of the hill on South Barry Avenue and tried to navigate that intersection at the Boston Post Road and North South Barry Avenue, it was a similar kind of situation. I mean, the streets aligned, you know, perfectly, so that really wasn't the problem. But the issue of traffic and turning was absolutely a problem. And I wrote a letter to the then mayor and said, you know, you might want to look into this because it looks dangerous. And this is an intersection where there's school children and there's a lot going on, businesses, you know, a bank, you know, the gas station, which is not unlike what's happening over at Brixmore. And ultimately, you know, my query resulted in them putting in a left turn signal. And it's been here for, you know, over 20 years at this intersection of North South Barry Avenue and the Boston Post Road. So, and even though you get stuck waiting a little bit, I have to say, turning in and out of these streets is a heck of a lot safer than it used to be when I moved here. So that's all I'm saying is, I think that it deserves consideration, and that's really all I have to say. I don't know what else, you know, I've asked my son about it. He has his point of view is really more from a pedestrian's point of view, and that's not what you guys are dealing with. So I will be quiet.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, for your interest. First of all, can everybody see the screen share that I put up of the satellite view?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. And when I went away from it on my screen, you didn't see, it didn't go away, right? Okay, good.
I can see
I
it.
can't really tell. For some reason, I can't really tell what I'm sharing once I've shared it, so I'm not sure. So first of all, I wanted to remind the commissioners, and maybe Ms. Stabile, you're not aware, but the traffic light and the road on Mamaroneck Avenue, all the way from the I-95 to the railroad bridge in Mamaroneck, are owned and controlled by the county.
Okay.
So there's very little that we can do about what goes on that road. However, after you sent the email, the village manager, Dan Sarnoff, saw it, and he sent us an email. I don't know if you were copied on it. And in that email, he pointed out, I'm trying to bring it up here.
Yeah, we're seeing what you're doing on your screen, just FYI.
Oh, I didn't want that.
Just quit. I suggest you quit screen sharing and then look for the email.
Yeah, I'm going to do it right now.
Just,
right.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so Dan.
A little privacy.
Yeah, that's, okay, Dan Sarnoff. And so that's not it. Does anybody else have that email really quick?
Well, I think I remember the email you're talking about, David. And this Mamaroneck Avenue is part of a county repaving project. And the thought, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, is that this intersection, this exit from the Brixmore Shopping Center is supposed to be addressed in the repaving project. So I think the village has a heads up on this, and it is going to be addressed with the county. So that would be the ideal time to put in the left turn signal or make some kind of safety change when the county does its work. Is that what you were thinking, David?
Yes, and he also points out that he has regular meetings with the county about the project. So if we have any concerns from our meeting tonight, we should send him an email and tell him so that he can pass them on. And I'm thinking of one of them is the dual left turn scenario that Ms. DeBeal mentioned in her email. When I was looking at that overhead from the satellite, it looks like it's just going to be whoever gets there first has the right of way. Because I mean, one person would be turning into a street, and the other one would be turning into a private driveway. So maybe there's right of way to the person turning into the street. I'm not well enough informed on the traffic laws, but as it almost always is, it's going to be first come gets the right of way.
Except that when you have traffic coming down the Mamaroneck Avenue, even if you get there first, you don't necessarily, I'm sorry if I'm speaking out of turn, you don't necessarily get to make the turn, even if you had the right of way by getting there first, because you have 2 lanes of traffic coming at you and you don't have the proper sight lines to safely make the left turn without possibly somebody, you know, because if a car is in the left lane hoping to make the left into the shopping center, you may have somebody on the right heading straight through, but you may not be able to see them. And so you're taking a risk by, you know, assuming you have the right of way and making a left turn. I mean, we had some kids from Rye Neck get pummeled a few years ago when they did just that down here at the intersection of the Boston Post Road and the Parkway years ago, and with a car full of kids.
So you make a good point, and that'll be one of the things we'll remind Mr. Sarnoff to bring up with the county, right. Along with the issue that you raised about being concerned about a truck turning into the shopping center, forcing you to back up if you're coming out of the shopping center. Right. I would like to assume that when they did the plans for this shopping center, that they left the right amount of room so that a truck could turn in there and not impinge upon the outgoing lane. But it's certainly another thing that we'll remind Mr. Sarnoff to bring up with the county.
Right. And as you mentioned, the paving project, I mean, I assume that means that they're going to be, that's the time to do electrical work. If you had to do something underneath the street to add something to a traffic light and then the paving comes after it. Is that what I mean, am I understanding correctly? Or
I don't know the timing of what comes first and what comes second, but at the time that they repave it and the county is doing the work, it's my understanding that is the time to address the traffic light signals and the pedestrian striping and all of that stuff.
Got it. Okay, great. Well, all this all I can do is, tell you my experience, tell you what I've done in the past, and what I see, because I just, I saw a dangerous situation. And I felt like I had to say something about it. So,
okay.
Thank you.
Is there any other of the other commissioners that wanted to speak on this?
No, I witnessed the same thing that Allison has witnessed. Same thing. When I was going out, making a left-hand turn onto Mamaroneck Avenue from the shopping center, a truck was coming in also, and it's just very tight there. I mean, I mean, the only thing I could think of is I would say go for the light, for the arrow, going into New Street. Is that the name of the street, Allison? New Street?
Yes.
Yeah. Making a left there, but how do you correct the traffic from coming from Mamaroneck Avenue into the shopping center? It even happens with regular cars and SUVs, because it's just such a small, parking lot going in and out.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know what the answer is for that.
Well, luckily, it's not our problem.
Yeah. That's a good one, Dave.
All right. So I'll send an email to Mr. Sarnoff reviewing the things we've talked about tonight, and hopefully he'll get some feedback from the county, and I'll ask him to let us know what they say.
Great. That's all. That's all we can do.
That's all we can do.
Thank you, Mr. Beal.
You're very welcome. Thank you for hearing me out.
Thank you, Allison. Thanks,
all right,
Dave.
Have a good night.
You too.
North Barry Avenue and Brook Street intersection. So this is, where is that? So that was from Matthew Hagens. Is Mr. Hagens here tonight? Okay. Is there anybody here that from the community that wants to speak on this item?
I would ask that they raise their hand so that I will know if they want to speak on this. And then I will, I'm kind of new at hosting, but I can allow them to speak. So if anyone can,
right. So
I don't see any hands up on this, David.
Okay. Are there any commissioners that have any insight into this other than what we got in the email from Mr. Hagens or Hagens? No.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Robert. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. I often have problems with my computer. So there is a stop sign on Brook, and I believe that there are complaints that cars go too fast on North Barry, and that ordinarily there's a school crossing guard. So I'm assuming that the complaint came from neighbors or families with young kids, and they're concerned about safety. And perhaps they want a three-way stop sign, particularly on Barry, since there is a stop sign on Brook.
Yeah, we know what they want. We're just, is there anybody, from the in the area? Is anybody there? Yeah, Robert. Yeah, we have the request what they want, but we're just wondering if anybody from the residents, is any residents there to speak about this?
Okay, so I gather that there's not.
Yeah.
You could see the satellite view. I won't go outside of it so you don't see all my other things. And I think there already is a stop sign on Brook.
Right, there is, yeah.
And North Barry is a through street. And during the school hours, the school transit hours, there's a crossing guard there. All right, so let's stop the share and go back to the email. So they're looking, he's looking for a
three-way stop.
Three-way stop and lower speed limits and all that.
Yeah.
Anybody got anything to say on it?
Do we have to ask for data information on this, or?
Well, we got a couple of choices. We can ask for any crash data, or we can talk about whether it's even, if we even want to take the time for that. Is there any thought on, is this a real problem?
Well, I can also vouch for it. It gets a little difficult at times to make a left or right turn coming from Brook onto Barry. And I know that there's also a one of those traffic. I don't know what the proper term is. The speed monitors.
Oh, the speed traps.
Yeah, I know there's one there. I don't know if we can use any of that data.
Is there a speed monitor in that intersection? I don't remember seeing one.
It's not a permanent one. There is often, though, because the school is right there, the speed trailer is often there.
Okay.
This is actually one of the real hardships of not having staff at our meetings and meeting when staff is not able to join us, is that we don't have the benefit of the police or fire ex officio members to help us out here. So, we'll muddle through, but.
Okay, so then let's ask the police for any speed data that they've obtained when they did post it there, and any crash data that they have, and we'll talk about it next month. Let me make a note. Speed and crash data.
Dave, are you going to do this, right?
Yeah, I'll do that one.
Thank you.
I'll do it if you'd prefer, David. I'll do it. I'm happy to do it.
Okay. I always prefer not doing it, so that's good.
Thanks, Kelly.
Sure.
All right, where are we here? Number 3. Oh wait, I should have done this at the beginning. Is there any members of the community that here that wish to speak on something? Please raise your hand so that we can address your items first.
Lindsay Newblatt is here and she has her hand up. So let me allow her to talk.
Okay.
Okay, Lindsay, I think you just need to unmute yourself. You're good to go.
Hi, I'm actually bullet point number 3. But so I don't know if you need to verbally address it, but I also just want to say it's because it seems like number 2 is a kind of a good lead in to mine. Is like a lot of these complaints seem to have to do with like the street safety of like our kids walking to school. And like I just have noticed, especially during the pandemic, like we haven't had speed traps by the police. Is there any plans, or do you know about setting up some, school speed traps and try to get these crazy people on the post road to slow down? So I guess
they don't really share their plans with us.
Okay.
So we're not really privy to that. On occasion, we ask them to set up the speed monitors so we can get more information on what may or may not be a troublesome area. But other than that, we don't get a whole lot of information from the police.
And just let me know, and you want me to jump in about this number 3.
Yeah, let's talk about Taylor's Lane and Colonial Court.
So I had written in, I live on Colonial Court, and I moved here a year and a half ago. And I have a kid at Daniel Warren and Bellows. And basically from Colonial Court, even Barrymore and Taylor's, where from there to Taylor's Lane, the cars drive so fast. And it's like between the post road and 2/3 of the way, it's a straight shoot. And there's like that empty lot left on Taylor's, and the trucks barrel down there. The kids, which there are literally hundreds, I think probably 100 kids who live in that area. And there's probably, I could probably count 3 to 4 dozen kids who use Taylor's Lane as the walking to get to the post road every day. and they have to walk in the street to get to school. And then there is a hairpin turn, or not hairpin, but a very sharp turn on Colonial that is then followed by a blind hill. So the cars basically whip around towards the post road, and when walking home, if you walk the correct way, so that you're walking with traffic, facing traffic, there's actually no walkway between Shadow Lane and Colonial. It's all falling apart, and the cars whip around, and the cars cannot see around the turn there. So, I did leave like a laundry list of possible things, with the most begging and pleading for a sidewalk. But also it just seems like that street should not be like a painted double line street. It just, if people treat it, and then there's the gas station too. So it's just, for a residential area, it feels so dangerous walking there.
Okay, so you're talking about two things really: the speed on Taylor's Lane. Three things: the speed on Taylor's Lane, and somewhat related is the lack of a safe place for people, especially children, to walk on Taylor's Lane, empty to the post road. And was there something specific about the intersection with Colonial Court, or just
two things.
Yeah.
First of all, so there's no stop sign on Barrymore or Colonial Court to enter Taylor's Lane, so cars do not stop. And both of those are blind curves due to the hills. So those seem like very logical things to be there. And then the other part about so where Colonial Court and Taylor's hit, you see there's that curve, but there's also a hill. So right above, like where the word says Colonial Court, right there, there's not even safe, side of the road. Like there's not, the pavement just is falling apart there.
Okay. Any commissioners have anything to say on the matter? All right, so what we do in cases like this is we gather some information. So I would say we'll talk to the police and get any incident data, any crash data there. And I would ask my fellow commissioners to take a drive down Taylor's Lane to familiarize yourself with what space there is available for people to walk and what speed controls there are there. And then next month we'll see what the police have to say, and we'll talk about what we found. And I would ask Lucia in the minutes specifically to note the 4 different areas of concern that we spoke about, so that when we meet next month, we'll be able to get right to the questions that we need to answer. Does that sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan. Yeah, Kelly, is there anybody here from the police department?
No, there's not.
Nobody's here. Okay, the only thing I wanted to just add, I see on number 7, Lindsay, you have installed speed bump near Colonial. We don't install speed bumps, correct? Because of the fire department, fire trucks, right, Kelly?
That's right.
Yeah, so that I know we cannot do. And I think that, I'll take a ride by there if somebody else could also. And then this way we'll see, Kelly, you gonna email the police?
I will. I'll put it all in one big email. I just want to remind everyone that under the village manager's directive, committees are not meeting. So staff are not supposed to be spending time on committees. That's just because of COVID and the stress that's on staff right now. So I want to ask as little from the police department as I need to, and as little from staff as I need to. I will ask for this crash data, but we are technically on a hold. So I don't want to I'm just reminding you, we're on a hold. That's why that's why I'm running the Zoom, right?
Right, yeah.
They don't have to pay me.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you understand.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
are you saying that we should do it? We should
No,
email?
no. I'm saying I'm gonna write the police department, but understand that it's not going to be a huge priority for them because we are not supposed to be meeting, right?
Exactly. Yes, yes.
So
yes. I totally understand.
Yeah. Anything we get at this point from staff is a favor, and it's kind. It's a kindness. It is a kind.
Right. I gotcha.
I mean, I think Sandy will, because she is fabulous and wonderful. I think she will get us this information.
Right. As long as the residents all know about this, you know, we're limited. We're limited. I mean, there's only so much we can do with what's going on in this.
Right.
world.
Like Lindsay, you're not aware, but usually we have someone from the fire department and from the police department attending our meetings, and someone from village staff who knows about the status of county projects and who knows, you know, and so we have all that input during our meeting, and we just don't have that right now because we're supposed to be on a hold.
Right. And I know that in that specific area, the like added layer is that empty lot, I know was like a garbage dump that was remediated and can't get approval to like have anything built there.
That actually has just gotten approval to, it is sealed up and it's not off gassing or whatever it does, but it's just gotten the green light from the DEC.
Oh, great. That's great to hear.
Yep.
Great. We'll look forward to hearing more slowly, and I'm glad it's at least on your radar. So.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Is there anybody else from the community about any other issues present?
Larry, I see you sitting there. Don't you want to speak to us? If you unmute yourself, you can pop right in. Lindsay, Larry was on our Board of Traffic Commissioners, so he's a friend.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Welcome.
Good to see you again. Yeah, this is kind of a nostalgic moment for me. I've been looking for your meetings on YouTube, but they're harder to find than a Republican at a trustee meeting. So.
Well, you know, we haven't been meeting, Larry, because of this hold. So.
Yeah, I know. And I actually had a couple observations based on what I've heard so far. You know, the shopping center question that came up first, it's always been that way. You know that. Even when A&P was there for 40 years, it's always been a tight driveway. It's been a tight turn. They really didn't change the physical layout of the lot, but that's why there's a second exit that takes people northbound on Mamaroneck Avenue from that shopping center. You know, you have a similar situation with offset streets also, which is what I wanted to address, Waverly and Mamaroneck Avenue and Van Rans. Now, is that something that I need to take up with Dan and the village and have him address it with the county?
Well, actually, in his email, Dan specifically said that they're doing something about that.
Yeah, we had discussed it once before, moving the crosswalk. I was there today, and I sat there for 2 hours and doing my own observation. 90% of the traffic that comes out of Waverly turns left on Mamaroneck Avenue, not right. But the crosswalk is also on that side. The crosswalk should be on the other side of the intersection by the variety store, closer to Van Rans, so that people crossing and that, you know, I must have observed a dozen close situations today between pedestrians and people trying to get out of Waverly onto the avenue. And that's because the crosswalk is in the wrong place. It should be.
We're aware of it, Larry, and Dan is aware of it, and the county's aware of it. And in his email this week, Dan said they, meaning the county, will be incorporating pedestrian enhancements for the village at Waverly Avenue.
Yeah, the only issue I see there, both sides of the street have fire hydrants right where the crosswalk needs to be. That's the only thing I did see. But, you know, let me just make a comment about Taylor's Lane too. My aunt used to live on Taylor's Lane. I have friends on Barrymore. It's a tight turn. It's restrictive. It's really, it's it's a close situation. People just have to drive carefully. You know, unless somebody's going to spend money and put in sidewalks, you know, it's always been that way. My aunt used to live there, 40 years ago, on Taylor's Lane. There is a dangerous curve. There are hills. There is not great sight and vision there. And if you're telling me that the lot has been okayed now, Kelly, and that there might be construction going on there in the future,
I don't know that there will be construction. I don't know that anyone wants to dig there, but it's
always been that way. You know what? I don't know what the solution is myself there, and that's just an observation from a resident like me. Well,
we miss you, Larry.
I miss you guys too.
Okay.
Don't think I don't. I do. Right, Lucia?
I guess so.
All right. So at any point in the future, are you guys going to have staff at meetings?
Yeah. I think very soon. It was supposed to be April or May. It obviously wasn't April. So I'm hopeful that we're slowly coming out of this. It's just taken longer than anyone thought.
Can you see yourselves going back to in-person meetings too, or not?
They're not raising that yet, but eventually we'll get there.
Okay.
I mean, if I had to guess, I would say maybe in the fall.
Okay. I guess nobody knows really what's going to happen. But
no.
It was nice seeing you again. And there are people still interested in issues out there. So
I know. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Larry.
And if there's ever anything I can do for you guys, let me know.
You know what you can do. You can join the committee again. You know that.
We have one seat left open. We have one seat left, right?
All right. I'll consider it.
I would love that.
It's only if David doesn't mind.
Dave.
Yeah.
Now we need a chairperson.
That's not me.
I know who I could nominate, but I don't think he'll take it.
All right, number 4 on the agenda.
Thank you.
Thanks, Larry.
Thanks, Larry. Number
Hi,
4
Larry.
on the agenda is commercial traffic, Waverly, Fenimore to Plaza. Is this in relation to the email from Lieutenant Dominic Falcone?
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody?
I mean, they emailed me. I don't know why me, but I guess because I'm on the traffic commission. But yeah, the chief wanted to know. I mean, I did call him up and I said, if someone could make the meeting to let us know exactly what you guys are asking for. They're just, asking, the commercial traffic on Waverly.
Is he looking for more or less commercial traffic?
Less.
Oh.
So I don't understand, I thought someone was going to try to come to the meeting tonight. So, just,
all right, Lucia, can you send him an email or reply to this and say, we'd love to hear what his question or concerns are, because there's not enough specific information.
Yeah, because they're just asking, is there any proposals or ideas at this time before the board to relate to the commercial traffic in the area on Waverly?
Can I speak to that?
Sure.
I was on the flood committee until recently, and we discussed the reconstruction of the Waverly Avenue Bridge. And their plan is to widen the area where the bridge is so that larger trucks, especially fire trucks, will have an easier time in navigating through that area. There were complaints from people in that area, Waverly and Center, complaining about people taking shortcuts.
Yeah, they cut through. Yeah, they cut through.
Right. And requesting that something be done to prevent that.
But that's not really commercial.
That's what I know about that. And that they're planning to, I believe the village did some investigation into traffic patterns. And when they redo the Waverly Avenue Bridge, they're hoping to improve the traffic navigation in that area.
Yeah, we're aware that the people, the other forces at work are working on the reconstruction of the bridge. The traffic cutting through is both commercial and non-commercial. So I'm not sure if that's what they're referring to. So I think it's probably best if we get a better description, if not an in-person testimony as to what it is they're looking for.
All right, I'll email the lieutenant and ask him exactly. I mean, when I spoke to him, he said the same thing that he put in the email. Do we have any plans, any proposal or ideas on this?
Well, if he got nothing more, we'll table it. We'll
Can I make one more comment? My old email address was.
Yeah, you sent that to us.
So I didn't receive some of the emails that you guys are referring to on some of these streets. So I just want to make sure that that will be fixed, so I do receive the emails that you're sending out.
Okay, did you send it to Sally and Elena?
I did. I'll give her a call tomorrow and make sure that she makes the change on the.
Yeah, because I did see your email, so they would have to go to them so that they can, because they send out all the information. All right, I will notify the lieutenant on this and see what else they're asking for.
Could I say something on this?
Of course.
Who's that? Larry?
Larry.
Yeah.
Oh, we thought you hung up. Go ahead, Larry.
No, I'm not hanging up. Because this is near and dear to my heart too, being a lifetime tractor trailer and bus driver. You have a 5-ton limit sign on the bridge right now. As I understood throughout my life, that's per axle. That's an axle rating. The problem, even when I was a bus driver for the district, we were always told not to use the Waverly Avenue Bridge with our large school buses, because even an empty large school bus is 30 to 35,000 pounds. While I was at the intersection of Waverly and the Avenue today, making my observations, I noticed some trucks, even a huge tractor trailer coming out of Waverly. The problem has always been, and I'm, born and raised in Mamaroneck, the problem has always been enforcement. But by the time the commercial vehicle gets to the bridge and sees the sign, it's too late. Where's he going to go? So any enforcement that takes place has to take place between the bridge and Fenimore, or any signage or any warnings. I mean, you have to stop them at Fenimore. The trucks have to be stopped from turning in, unless, of course, they're doing a local delivery. Local deliveries are exempt from everything. But it's always been an issue of enforcement. That's all.
Yeah, my office used to be at 300 Waverly, which is the last building right before the bridge. And so I had experiences helping truck drivers back out of Waverly because they weren't able to go over the bridge. I watched plenty of trucks drive very happily over the bridge when they shouldn't have. And I also watched the police sit there and ticket and stop trucks from going over the bridge. So it's an enforcement thing, and the sign was never in the right place. I don't know what the new weight limit is going to be on the new bridge. It may very well be higher, so that they won't be illegal.
Oh, maybe you won't want to restrict commercial traffic then. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sure the residents on the other side of the bridge would not be very happy about
I'm sure they won't.
Bigger trucks coming through there.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see. Anything else on this? Okay. So there's an email from Sally Roberts in the package from recounting a conversation she had with a resident and I don't see it on the agenda. And for our part of it was about a tree on Center Avenue that's not for us. But the part that's for us is there's a dangerous corner at Waverly and Ogden when cars exiting, it's supposed to say, exiting Ogden onto Waverly cannot see oncoming traffic as cars / trucks park close to the corner. Can you please take a look at and perhaps add a stop sign on Waverly there or put a no parking here to corner to help with visibility. So I think of this intersection as the next block after I go from the Optimum building back to Waverly, and you do have to be very careful there making your left or right turn, because as you look to the left, there's a limited visibility. Anybody else have anything to say on this matter?
Can I say something?
Always.
And
I agree with you 100%, David. I'm constantly in that area, and it amazes me because you have that curve on Waverly too. After Toyota City, the service center, there's that curve where Vincent has his drop lot for the damaged vehicle, for towed vehicles. And it's impossible to see. Perhaps eliminating a couple of parking spots would be a quick and easy solution, for visibility purposes.
Okay. So I would suggest then that we add that to our list of things we're going to go check out individually.
I'm sorry, Lindsay's hand's been up, I haven't. I'm just going to let her speak again. You know what? It says she can speak. I think she has to unmute herself.
I'm sorry, I don't know why it was raised. I didn't want to.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I just didn't want to leave you out.
Fellow commissioners, please take a look at that intersection and specifically take a look at the right side as you're going from Fenimore on Waverly before you get to Ogden to see if maybe just that we need to enforce the no parking there. I don't know what the situation is.
Andres or Robert, can one of you guys volunteer to go take a look at this?
Yeah, I'm not clear from Fenimore. Are you making a right on Waverly or a left on Waverly?
You're going away from Mamaroneck Avenue.
Yeah, I think it's a left onto Waverly.
No, the best way to do it is make a left on Center off of Fenimore, go down Center to the stop sign, and then make a left, and then try to access Waverly from there. And that's where you'll see the problem.
Okay, so who's gonna take a ride?
I live around the
corner. We're all going to take a ride, Lucia, and then we can all discuss it.
I didn't hear you. What?
We're all going to take a ride.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, and then you can discuss it next month.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Clarify. Going up Center.
We'll meet at the bus stop.
Going up Center, making the left, and then the left.
They try to access Waverly from there. Right.
Right, okay.
That's the problem intersection. Up Center all the way to the stop sign where Optimum is. And then make a left there and try to get onto Waverly. And you'll see you can't really see approaching traffic that's coming off of Rockland Avenue onto Waverly.
Yeah, I've been there.
I live on the corner there. That is a problem.
Yeah.
I work just on the street too, so I can also vouch for that.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Okay. Under old business, is there anything?
We can't even talk about it because then nothing's been done, right, okay. Kelly?
I suspect, unfortunately, that's the case.
Yeah.
We will keep a running list of that's what we'll do in these meetings, just so that
old business, and then also with the follow-ups, there's nothing we can do because nothing has been done because of what's going on. All right. And the only thing we have left is the minutes.
Okay, well, we skipped over follow-up. I assume that's the same as old business?
Yeah. That's why I'm sorry. I was just saying that to Kelly. Okay. I thought you heard me.
Okay, so also in your packet is the minutes from the last meeting for
February.
Yes, in February. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from February?
Let the new guys jump in. Come on, guys.
I don't recall seeing the minutes.
What do you mean
Okay.
you don't? They're in the package.
What package?
The agenda package. Did you get the agenda package from Elena? Or you didn't get that email?
I downloaded the agenda from the village website.
No.
I didn't get it.
Elena sent
I had the wrong email.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe you didn't.
Okay. Well, the gentleman can definitely not be expected to pass judgment on the minutes if he hasn't read them.
Right. Exactly.
So
can I just ask a quick question? Does that mean nothing under old business or follow-up has been completed?
Correct.
It means that staff isn't here to update us if it has been completed, so we can't, there's nothing for us to discuss about it.
Yeah, for us to discuss. Right. Yeah, because everything is on hold, so that's why we can't even talk about anything. Nothing has been done.
Okay, so it doesn't make sense to entertain a motion to approve the minutes because we wouldn't be able to get the majority vote to approve it. So we will table that till next meeting when maybe we'll have more commissioners or we'll all have been able to read the minutes.
David, I'm sorry, hold on. There's three of us. If I make the motion, someone second it or no?
Three votes doesn't carry.
Three of us doesn't?
Even if we all voted for it, we wouldn't have enough to carry.
Oh, okay, so we'll table it. Okay.
Right, because you need 4.
We need 4.
And I can't vote. Before you adjourn, I just want to read something that Lindsay put up in the chat. If you're coming to Taylor's, I would suggest coming at school drop-off pickup times 8:30 to 9 or 2:30 to 3. Okay. Okay.
I won't be able to do that because I work during the week. So maybe someone else can take a ride. I'll just go by to see what it looks like. You know, if someone has a chance to do it on those hours, but I work during the week, day.
I understood. Thanks, Lucia.
All right.
You'll have to, in your mind's eye, imagine the hundreds of kids that are walking during that time.
Oh yeah, no, I know. But you know what? I mean, North Barry, every morning I go out, it's like crazy, and they have the speed trailer right there. Nobody follows it. So I mean, I don't know what the answer is. I really don't. I mean, we can't keep putting stop signs all over Mamaroneck, and speed traps. We just don't have the money, I guess, and the manpower. So,
anybody else have anything they want to add or bring up? Okay, I've been informed by my House parliamentarian that I don't need a motion. Being that there is no other business to be brought up, I hereby adjourn this meeting of the Traffic Commission.
I love you, David. Oh my God, you're fabulous. Larry, we love you too. You guys, I have to say, before I end us all, it is such a pleasure to see you all. I mean, you don't even realize how much you miss each other until you're together, right?
Right. And thank you, Kelly, for taking over this for us.
You're very, very welcome.
Right,
so I hope that in May we are back with staff and everything good. I'll copy you on the email that I sent to the chief about the data. Okay.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Have a good night. Bye.